Welcome to World Archery's coaching. We've got a workshop today about the all-important athlete-coach relationship. I'm Karim Bashir. Let's meet who we're talking to today. Let's start in Spain.
Hello, I'm Elias Cuesta. I'm the coach of the Spanish national team and also the coach of the National Training Center in Madrid also.
Hi, my name is June. I'm from Spain. I'm a Spanish archery national team archer, and I shoot recurve.
Hello, this is Luke Bergen. I'm head coach from Turkish team.
Hello, everyone. This is Yasemin Ecemanagöz, Olympic archer from national team of Turkey.
Well, thanks for joining us today, girls. Really important topic for all of you, I know, and for all athletes out there. The coach-athlete relationship and how important it is for the coach and the athlete to be involved in a conducive and cooperative relationship to produce the best. Yasmin, let's set the context a little bit first. How long have you been working with Göktürk?
It should be 8 years, but it feels like forever since when I was born. He was archer. He wasn't a coach, but I grew up also watching him. We were in the same club, so he was always in my life for teaching me, showing me, or coaching me something for a really long time.
Brilliant. And Jun, thanks for joining us. How long have you been working with Elias?
With Elias, I firstly started with him in 2015, and I was training with him here in Madrid Center during 2 years. And last year, I started with him again because he moved from the Madrid Training Center to the National Training Center. So I was there was a year that I was training with him.
Okay, brilliant. Look, we've set the context. You guys are training very regularly, and obviously we're here to talk about the relationship between athlete and coach. Elias, let's start with you. I want to talk about expectations to start with. As a coach for all of your athletes, including Jun, what are your expectations of them?
I never I don't like to tell to my archer expectative because just I love to see my archer work hard, and I know the results coming in a few days, in a few weeks, in a few months, or in a few years. But just all the time I tell to my archer, just I love to see hard work. It doesn't matter if you're shooting really well now, or you are shooting the best technique in the world, but you need to working hard, and the result is coming in. So just my philosophy.
And Göktürk, your expectations as a coach on your athletes?
I can say the same thing. I only expect some patience from my archers. They have to be patient. They have to just work, and they have to be open mind. They have to be ready to work. They have to be ready to get something, get some new information. It is really important. If the archer doesn't want to have some new information, there are no way to help him, no way to help them. And because of this, I always expect to have some patience and open mind.
Okay, well, let's flip it up and Yasemin, start with you. What do you expect, and what have you expected, not just from Göktürk, but pre-coaches to him?
I can say, actually, I don't have any special expectations. He also doesn't have, like, before competition, he never tell me that you must shoot this score, or you must get this medal. He just wants from me that do exactly what you do in the training, do it in the competition. It's just simple. So expectations makes people more tired. You just have to focus, because we all hardworking, and this should be something. It should meant to be something. We just go to competition and do the exactly same thing what you do.
And Jern, finally, your thoughts on your expectations of your coaches.
The only real expectations I have from my coach is compromise and trust me, and that's it. I mean, as same I trust him and I have compromise with all trainings. I want the same back, and I think this is just the the only thing I expect from my coach.
Okay, interesting stuff. I'm going to stick with you, Jun, and then go to Yasmin on this one. And I'm going to ask this question right now, and I'm going to ask it at the end of the workshop. Is there or are there magic ingredients to have a perfect athlete-coach relationship?
I think just hard work and trust and very good planification, and that's it. I think.
Yasmin, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think trust is the most important thing, but also respect is really important. You must always take care of what he's saying, what he wants me to do. Sometimes it looks like why I'm doing this to me, but there is always some really smart reason, the things he told me. So believing the coach with the respect is important, but the trust, of course, is the most important thing.
Okay, let's get it from the coach's perspective. Do you believe that there's magic ingredient in terms of the athlete-coach relationship?
In my point of view, the basic thing is to create terminology. We have to understand each other with the correct words, and we have to understand each other on the correct way. This is really important for me, because we don't have too much time to communicate during the competition. We need to have some trick words to understand each other. We have to have some trick words to motivate each other, because motivation is not always in just one time. Archer has to be motivated and coach has to be motivated to win during the competition. And if both sides want to win, it will be easier to hard work. And because of this, terminology is a trick point for me.
Elias, do you have some magic ingredients to make the relationship with your athletes work?
No, not any magic ingredient. Just I like to create independent archer, because when you go to competition, for example, in my case, normally I go one coach or two coach by competition. So normally you fly with 8 archer, sometimes also compound, but you normally are in the competition with 4 men or 4 women. Okay, in the ranking round, you can be with the 4 archer, because it's in the same line is really close. But in the matches, sometimes you have an archer in the target 2 and the last archer in the target 71. So it's really difficult to move all the time. So for me, the most important thing is to create individual archer, so he can shoot or he can do his work with coach or without coach. This is my, no magic, but this is my ingredient. So this is my focus. This is my focus on the training with the guys.
So a self-sustaining archer that can shoot just as or without you. Okay, well, let's talk about development then, because that is a key thing for both the athlete to work on in terms of their performance, but for the relationship. But Elias, as a coach, you have a model that you fit to your athletes, and you then shape that model depending on the individuals, or do you start the development process with each athlete completely separately, new sheet of paper?
Normally, I train same with all my archer. Just I do different things with. It depends of the hour of the training. For example, in the case of June, last year I was training in the morning and in the evening also, but just maybe few hours in the morning and few hours in the evening. I have archer full time in the morning, full time in the evening. I have archer just full time in the morning or just full time in the evening. So I need to create 2 model of or 3 model of the training, just full time archer morning and evening, or full time morning or full time evening. It's like a 3 model of the of training schedule. So a part of this, if I'm thinking in technique, I try to create the same model of archery in all of my archery.
But in terms of the relationships, so you're talking about a full-time athlete having much more time with you on a much more regular basis. Surely the relationship develops very compared to an archer that perhaps only trains half a day with you.
It depends of the, how do you say in English, carácter de una persona.
Attitude.
It depends of the attitude of the archer. For example, I never talk same with June or same with woman or same with June or same to other men. It depends of the attitude of the guy. I can say the same thing with different word or with different example. Or you need to know how is the life of the guy, how is the the attitude of each archer to talk with them. It's impossible to manage the same with all of them. That's in my case.
Okay, that's brilliant. Göktürk, you've talked with us in previous workshops about having a framework for your athletes based on technique. You have a technical framework that they follow. Do you have the same thing with the relationship side of things? Do you have a framework that you work all of the athletes in the same way?
No, it's no way, because all the athletes have different personality. And first I have to try to understand the athlete's personality. Then I have to find how can I reach his or her mind. Then I try to find really correct way to communicate with the individual athletes. It is completely different. For example, I always have different kind of athletes, different age groups and different life groups actually, and social and cultural levels are different. There's difference between the athletes about this matters. Then I always try to find different ways to reach, different ways to express myself really correct way to athlete. It is not possible to have some frameworks with the all athletes, but of course, if we're talking about the equality, I always try to give equal chance to all of them. But as Elias says, it's changing, depends on that this attitude. Sometimes someone's using that equality, someone gets much more time than me, but some others doesn't want to work too much, doesn't want to spend too much time with me. Then I always align. I always try to adjust my time. Which one is ready to learn something? Which one is just try to spend time here? I try to define this when I meet with the athlete. When one of the new athlete, I always try to understand. And first of all, I always watch. I always watch behind the athlete, trying to understand what's he doing, what he want to do, where he want to see himself at the end of this period. I mean, in 1 year, in 2 years, what he want to be. Then I always try to make some difference between my relationships.
Okay, that's a really interesting one. Yasemin, I'm going to throw this over to you. Göktürk's talked about feeling a responsibility to learn and understand each individual athlete. Is there some responsibility on you as an archer to understand your coach's personality as well?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yasemin.
Is it my turn or Elias?
Yes, Yasemin, please.
Okay. Can I have the question again, because I just confused?
Göktürk talked about taking responsibility for understanding each of his individual athletes' personalities. As an athlete yourself, do you have some responsibility in understanding your coach's personality to improve the relationship?
Yeah, I think so. But first of all, I have to understand myself, because it's really hard to understand. If you're an athlete, your mind, you think, but you don't know what you think. But inside of my thoughts, he understands actually what I'm thinking. And I'm going to ask him, like, what's going on? And he's just telling me what the problem is. So I think as responsibility, I have to understand that if he has a good day or in a bad day with the moods, but I think the more important thing that he must understand me better than I understand him.
So you're talking about trust in some ways here, that you just need to have some trust in him. So do you just listen to your coach when Tug or other coaches in your career, do you just listen to them, whatever they say? You absolutely 100% have to trust them?
Yes, I'm 100% do all that things, and I can say that this is the biggest reason if I get some medals, if I get some success, is the key of listen and trust what your coach say.
Jun, over to you. Do you feel a sense of responsibility about your part in building a relationship with Elias?
I don't think I have a very big responsibility. I mean, I just have to work. I have to keep a good relationship with my mates, and I think Elias will be happy. And he normally, if we work hard, if we take care of our training and all material and everything, he never gets angry with us. And I mean, this he is also a person. He can be in a better mood, in a bad mood, but he never like showed to the archers.
So basically, you do what he says, and as long as you do what he says, everything will be fine.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah.
Okay. We'll come back to that. Elias, I'm going to come back to you from a coaching perspective. And again, I'm going to ask the coaches first and then the athletes. This is not the easiest of questions to ask, but I think it's an important one. Do you have to like each of your athletes, or can you train someone and build a relationship with someone that you don't perhaps like? I'm not talking specifically about Jun here.
No, especially. No, I have good relationship with all of my archers. Just it's normal. You have two kind of archers, no? Archers, so they are waiting to the coach is waiting. Is coming to me to tell me what I'm thinking bad or what I'm doing bad, or people who when they are feeling bad thing or bad shooting, say, hey coach, I need you. So I like this kind of archer because you spend more time with them. So sometimes you have no better relationship, but more relation with people who all the time is calling to you, or people just waiting. But I don't have any bad relationship with any of my archers.
Doctor, do you need to be friends with your friends?
Not exactly, but if I don't like someone, this doesn't have to be only athlete. If this can be anyone, I don't like someone, I try to understand why I don't like them, and I always try to find a solution to find better way to get relationship with them. I mean, in athletes, if I don't like someone, I try to understand what is the main problem, and I always try to change it. Then I can change it. I can force to change that behavior. If it is about the behavior, I can change that behavior. If it is about another things, I can find another solution. I think I can find a way to get some better relation with someone who I don't like, but normally I don't have that kind of athletes.
I think also you as a coach, you need to have the knowledge or the ability to change the
personality.
Yeah.
Personal character also.
Yeah.
Because we are not coaching only for archery, we are coaching for their life. I mean, Yasemin said we are together in 8 years. Then she is always with me. She doesn't have enough relation with her family also, because she just saw her family just 3 times in 4 months. Then rest of the time we are together. Then I have responsibility about her life too. And I cannot say I don't like Yasemin because of this. I have to change that point. I have to change that behaviors. Then, as Elias says, we are not only archery coach. We are acting like a life coach here.
Yeah, I all the time try to explain to my archer, you need to find like a lifestyle, no? Because it's impossible to try to have attitude on the shooting line different with my girlfriend, or different with my family, or different with when I'm going to cinema in the car, or you need to find a lifestyle in the same situation of the life, in the shooting line, in training, in physical training, with your family, with your friend. So this is one of my advice for my archer.
Yeah, that's really interesting stuff. I'm going to slightly change the question for the athletes, but it's along the same sort of lines. We're talking about whether you have to like the person you're working with, but the coaches have talked about effectively holding a sort of semi-parental role, being an extra parent because you're spending so much time with them. Is that what it feels like to you as an athlete? Yasmin, let's start with you.
Well, yes. For me, I must love my coaches because this is my life, and I spend my whole life with this person. I see them more than my family, my brother. So I must love them. If you would ask me about in a normal sport life, I could say they don't have to love each other. But in our system in Turkey, we must live together. We must shoot training every day together. We live in Antalya, all the team and the coaches. So we became like a family that I must love, and they must love me. There must be some love because I'm an emotional person. And I think it's a good way to being emotional instead of everyone thinks that it's negative. But I don't think, because the emotions makes people more stronger. If I cry, it shows I am strong. If I love hard, it shows I am strong. So the relationship with the love, it's really important.
Interesting stuff. Jun, what about you? Do you feel that there's a parental role coaches hold in your life?
Yeah, I think so, because if I have some life problems or academic problems or whatever, if I ask him for help, I know he will help me. And I think in this group, in the National Center group, there is like a family relationship between all archers and with the coach, and very good relationship, sorry, very good vibes.
Yeah, it's a fascinating area because it moves me on to something that I wanted to ask specifically the coaches actually about here. From what the athletes are saying, this is a huge responsibility for you, because it's not just shooting arrows and physical training and mental preparation of the sport. It's also, as Göktürk has mentioned, as a life or holistic approach to building a better person. Archery happens to be part of that. Göktürk, we'll start with you. I mean, do you feel that responsibility?
Yeah, of course. Every time when I met with the archers, I always feel that responsibility. I always acting like that because I know I have their life in my hand. Then I can direct that life in a good way or bad way. Because at the end, I'm spending at least their time. They are here and they're spending their time for to be better archer. If I spend that time zone for nothing, at the end they will have nothing. If I can give something good, something they will use in their future life, it will be better, because every archer cannot be champion. In every competition, there is only one champion. The all others, they have nothing at the end of the competition. If you don't have gold medal, that means you have nothing. But at least these archers has to get something. We have 12 archers here. We are working for to be Olympic champion. In the world, everybody working to be Olympic champion, but there will be only one Olympic champion. The rest of them has to get something. And this is, every time cannot be money and cannot be another things. Sometimes this is some new life, new emotions, new directions. And I'm thinking this way. I am working with a lot of archers, but I always try to teach them a lot of things, not only archery. I always speak loudly when we are together with the coaching staff. I always speak loudly because I always try to make them hear what we are thinking about the social life, what we are thinking about the cultural things, what we are thinking about our future and other things. And I always try to direct them thinking like open mind, thinking like, and I always try to give them some vision about the life. Life is not only archery, which is most important part for me in their life, archery, because they can earn their life through the archery. They have this chance, but this is not, earning means not only medals. they can earn their future too.
Elias, your thoughts on that, and the responsibility you feel towards the athletes in your control?
Yes, of course, I feel this kind of not pressure, but this kind of responsibility. For example, when I arrive to the training field, and just when you see the face of the archer, you can feel what archer are in a good day or bad day, and sometimes you spend more time to try to recovery or to find to fix them or something like that. So of course I feel this kind of pressure, and in the same way that God was talking like a champion, no? I all the time say to my archer, they need to train like a champion. They need to eat like a champion. They need to rest like a champion. They need to compete like a champion. They need to have good relationship like a champion, and sometimes competition present to them a medal, and more than the other time never get a medal. So but they need to feel all the time when go to the bed, they training hard like a champion, not just training in the shooting field with the family, with the in university, in school, with the rest of the team. This is my philosophy.
Alex, I just want to stick with you on this because I want to talk about something specific that's happening to all of us at the moment. This enforced period where we have to be apart from each other because of this global pandemic. It's a horrible situation for everyone in the world, but because we're talking about the athlete-coach relationship and you've been apart from each other, how have you shown that ability? What is your athlete, or what have your athletes asked of you?
During the pandemic?
Yeah, while you've been apart.
I was training all the days, morning and evening, just short hours, but we were training few hours in the morning and few hours in the evening by Zoom. Sometimes in the training, we spend time just talking about how is Spain, or how are you, how we're doing in your house. So, sometimes spend time in no shooting, just talking, how are you, or something like that. It's not just shooting, not archery.
So Jun, did you feel that? Did you feel that not only in this time where we've been apart, you're not only relying on Elias to give you some Zoom training, but also just to have a chat?
Yeah, I think he was always able to listen us if we were worried or whatever. But I think I felt very calm because I trust him, and the training we were following, I think it was good, and we keep in our line, and we didn't lose a level or whatever. And yeah, as he said, we were talking, not just shooting. And if we have a problem, we can contact him every time and call him or whatever. Sometimes we were training a little bit more time, voluntary, if we need it. Like, can you check me this or whatever? And he was okay with that.
I put normally like a obligatory time to training, 2 hours in the morning or 2 hours in the evening, but the rest of the day sometimes, like you said, hey Elias, I was training like short distance in my house, but I feel bad. Can you put a camera to see me? Okay, no problem. I put camera with him or with other archer, or maybe just one. I was like open for them every time, because I know it was like a difficult moment.
For everybody. Yasmin, what about your experiences? Have you been leaning on your coach in the time when you perhaps not had the same physical contact?
Actually, I think I was lucky because when we back to home, we just make training like 1 month on the Zoom every day with the whole team. And after 1 month, me and my coach lives in Izmir at the same city, so we had chance to go training together. But the other persons in the team, they make with the Zoom. So everything was so actually normal to me. I never feel something like quarantine or something, like I can't shoot because my life was keep going in the same way. Just I was shooting at the home, and it was the only time that I can see my parents for after a very long time. So we were always together. I never feel like we were apart.
Okay, interesting stuff. Okay, well, I'm going to move on to something a little bit more specific about sport itself and the relationship between an athlete and a coach in sport. Yasmin, I'm going to stick with you. What do you require from your coach? And is it different when you're training compared to when you're competing?
Yes, of course, it's really different because I haven't competed more than a year, I guess. I'm just wondering about what's going to be happen in the during the competition, because in my performance, I don't feel anything changed because of this coronavirus. We're lucky that our federation gave us really good opportunities that we can still be in training camps. Even in the August, on this situation in the world, we make training like 10 hours, which is something really good for us. And I'm just missing the competitions, but it's relationship with my coach during the competitions and the trainings. It's more like he talks me more before the competition, so calm me down. Like before a week before competition, he's kind of stopped talking to me and giving a space for myself and watching me and the way what's going on inside of me. And before a day in the competition, sometimes when I was freak out, he just called me down, and even in the like 1 hour talk, everything's going to be fine.
Jun, what about you? I mean, in normal times, let's move on from COVID-19. In normal times, do you expect different things, or do you need different things from your coach when you're compared to when you're competing?
Not at all. I think he is preparing us in the trainings for competition, and normally we are a little bit nervous in competition or whatever. But he, in my, or at least in my case, I think he has the ability and knowledge to focus me on the important thing at the competition. And if I need to ask him something, he will be always there with the scope on in the waiting line. So I don't have problems in competition. Just keep doing my process, and that's all I think.
Interesting. Elias, switching it over from to the coach's perspective, do you feel that different things are required from you as a coach when you're working with an athlete in training and working with them at a competition?
Not different, because like you said, I try to prepare my archer in training for the competition, but it's normally they feel pressure, or they feel nervous, or they feel a different feeling that in competition or in training. I always try to be happy, or to be not hungry, because if one archer is shooting bad, we turn the head and I look into you and look hungry, or look bad face or something like that, they feel more pressure, or they feel more nervous, because maybe they can feel like my coach is angry because he has a expectative on me or something like that. I try to be calm. I try to to put the archer in the same way, or try to find one thing to give the things, to put the focus on the competition or something like that. But I'm trying to be just happy, to be calm or something like that. It's not I normally talk more in training than in competition, or like Jasmine said, before the day of the competition, or when the competition is finished, maybe you can spend more time. Or what do you feel in competition? What do you feel in that moment? I was looking in this end, you shot a better arrow. What do you feel in this arrow? Something like that. And I think it's a really good way, like Jasmine said.
So a sort of calm approach in competition. So do you think that Elias, just on that one point, that there's a little less freedom for your emotions when you're in front of athletes in competition, and you can be a little bit more expressive when you're training.
Yeah, normally, yeah.
Gokta, your thoughts on the different requirements of you as a coach for your athletes in training versus competition?
For me, training part is more important than the competition, because in the training we have to be so strict about everything. We have to force them to work really hard. In competition, of course, we have to give them some space. And when we are approaching the competition, I always clarify the importance of the competition and try to clarify the expectations. Then during the competition, I always give them some task, and I try to force them to follow only that task. I only try to take them away from the scores, take them away from the self-evaluations during the competition, which is most dangerous part for me. But in the training, I'm always so strict, and I'm always so, I can say I'm really so hard in the training. You cannot have any brag during the training, but in competition, you can get something from me. It's easy. You can get a lot of promise from me in the competitions. Yasemin know very well. They always ask some important questions to me in the competitions, because in the competitions, I always try to be positive. I always try to say yes. I never try to make them extra pressure on them, especially just before the competition. I am always so careful to speaking with them, to talking to them. I always choose my words really carefully, because especially when you're talking to a woman, when you're talking to a woman, which one will go to competition in a few seconds, it's really dangerous. You have to be really, then I always try to be much more positive in the competition, but in the training side, I can say I'm a really hard guy in the training.
I think it's really important. Gotku was archer for a long time. Uh, like me or like other coach, was archer before. When you have in your mind the feeling when you shoot bad, or when you have the feeling when you shoot good, or when you have the feeling when you are shooting with against the best archer in the world or the number one in the world, it's really easy to to give advice to the archer, because you feel before many times. So I think it's really good if one archer was a good competitor or good archer before was coach.
I'm really glad you brought that up, Elias, because I was about to say both of you are former archers, have competed, so you have an understanding of what it's like standing on the shooting line and the pressure that comes with that. So, and I was going to say, do you feel that has helped you? But obviously, you've just answered that and said yes, it does. But do you think a good coach has to have been a good archer? Maybe not high class, but certainly competed at, say, international.
I think it's not necessary, but if you have, it's better. It's in my opinion, because maybe you never feel the same pressure or feel the same situation, but maybe you have the ability to study, or you have the knowledge because you was working with a good psychology or with good mental coach or something like that. But if you feel before, of course you have better ability to do it, just in my opinion.
You have more into the thing. Would you agree?
I'm agree, but I have to add something. I'm sure if you ask these questions to the archers, I mean to you or Yasemin, they will say, of course, good coach has to be good former archer. When I was archer, I was thinking like that. Good coach has to be former archer. Without shooting arrow, you cannot understand the archer's mind, and you cannot understand the archer what they have to do for the next step for the development. But when I become the coach, I understand coaching and shooting. To be archer is completely different things. We have to develop our side. We have to develop ourselves as a coach. But I totally agree. It is really helped too much to be former archer, because as Elias said, we felt this feeling. We know this very well. But in these nowadays, the level is really high. It's incredible. I cannot imagine I can compete with these archers, because they are shooting really high scores. Then we have to work too much than when we were archer. I was saying, when I was archer, I was saying coaching is so easy. They're just standing behind. That's it. But now I understand it's completely different. And I can say it is really difficult then to be out there.
Yeah.
Well, let's give the athletes a chance to have their say. Jun, Do you agree that your coach has to have been a good archer?
Yeah, I think it helps to make a better coach, but I don't think this is imperative. So I think um, a good archer that later becomes a coach has more experience than somebody who has just studied. But in his case, I think it helped him to be a great coach.
Yeah, your thoughts? Does your coach always had to have been a good former archer?
My all coaches were good archers, so I can't compare about this question. I think I agree that has to be a good archer in the before.
Okay, interesting stuff. Well, look, I'm going to stick with you athletes to start. Go on, Elias, you got something to say?
Karim, yes, I would like to say, I think if you was good archer or you was a good competitor or was international archer for a long time, I think it's not really important to to be coach for technique or for physical preparation or for schedule or something like that. It's just, in my opinion, it's just for the mental part of the shooting or the mental part of the archery life, not for the technique or something like that. For this thing, of course, you need to study the archery knowledge or the sport knowledge, biomechanic knowledge or physical knowledge. This is different, but I think this part just helping to you in the mental part of the archery life. That's my key.
Well, I'm going to follow up with you on that one because there's a whole group of people out there now that have never been international athletes. They are psychologists who work specifically with athletes. Would that not work in you working on the technical side, but having a sports psychologist, the same as your nutritionist, working together with you in a team?
In my case,
in general, you're saying that the experience of an athlete has given you this understanding of the life of an archer and what it's like standing on the line and shooting. You understand that experience emotionally and you understand the journey that the archer's going through. But there are lots of people now who make their living by talking about the psychology, the understanding, the pressure that you're under. Maybe not for you, but surely there are other setups around the world where they use many people and there's a technical coach and a mental coach and a physical trainer.
I think it's important that the psychology or the mental coach know the sport, because every kind of archery, every kind of sport is different in the mental part. For example, in my opinion, there are some sport like golf or maybe like archery. Maybe the mental part of the shooting is really the same, but if you work with the normal psychology that work just maybe in basketball, okay, maybe he can work or he can help you maybe in your mental aspect of your relationship with the coach, for example, or the relationship with the rest of the team, or the relationship with your family, or your problem with the university or the school. But the real problem of the archer in the shooting line, what do you need, where do you need the to put the focus on the arrow? Where do you need to put the focus when you are going to the target line, to the shooting line, something like that? I need this important if you know the sport. I think so.
Okay, interesting. Okay, I'm going to move on now, and I'm going to come back to the athletes again first on this one. Cultural differences of athlete-coach relationships. And what I mean by that is that I was an athlete in a different sport, and I saw that the German team and the way the athletes and the coaches worked together was very different to the way that as it was for the Chinese and the Korean and the American athletes. Jun, first to you. Do you see this difference, and do you think you could fit into any other country's approach to coaching their athletes?
Yeah, I think in Spain we are like more like easy relationship with other people compared with I I don't know with other countries. Um, I think I think that is we have like a easy establishment of a good relationship with the coach.
And do you think you could fit into any other type of coaching setup?
Sure.
Do you think that you would find it easy? Let's say if tomorrow you had to move Beijing, could you fit into the Chinese structure?
It depends in which country, but I think if there is respect and understanding and trust, I mean, in better or worse way, there is a good relationship with people, with coaches in general.
Yes, I mean, what about you? I mean, you see on the international circuit the different styles from different countries. Do you think one works better than the other?
I can't say one work is better. Everyone has their own works, but I can say that I think I can fit in any, because for my case, I'm seeing that maybe we can be the hardest workers in the world. I don't know. I see our system like this, but yeah, there's some cultural difference about relationship with the teammates or the coach. Yeah, there's difference, of course, but you can say which one is true or false. It's everyone's way is different.
Gökçe, come to involved in developing coaching around the world as well as in Turkey. Do you see those cultural differences, and do you see that one perhaps works better, or some aspects of one work better?
I think there was really big cultural differences before, but now it's getting more similar because finally archery coaches realize archery is one of the athletic sport. I can say in 2008 I was in Olympic Games. There was a lot of fat guys on the line, but now when you look at there's a lot of athletic and fit guys, and you can see really archery's development is too fast. And a lot of former archers asking me why now the recent archers shooting really high scores than before, because in our time with Elias when we shot 670 was really incredible score. 60s was normal score, but now if you don't have 680s, you cannot be in first 8, you cannot be in first 16 even in World Cups. Then this difference about physics works. I think now most of the teams and most of the cultures getting similar. I think they find the bug of the archer. They find how to archers have to work. Then now when I look at the field, especially when I look at the serious countries, which countries would like to have some Olympic medals and would like to have some World Cup medals, they always you can notice they are working on the same ways. And of course, there's some cultural difference between relationships with athletes and coaches, but I don't see really big difference between them. I really say Asian side can be different than the rest of the world, but they are getting more similar to us. They are getting more close to us now. When you look at the Korean team, and if you remember 10 years ago, they don't have any relation between athletes and coaches in the field, but now they started joking each other. They started talking each other on the field, and it's getting changed and it's getting similar, I think.
Elias, do you agree that with Gökçe that the cultural differences aside, the relationships and the way that coaches work around the world with their athletes is narrowing a little bit?
Yeah, I totally agree with him. The the best example is like God could say, like Korean team or like Chinese team is like more Asia team, no? Before time, 10 years ago or something like that, is not impossible, but it's like impossible to see one coach with the hand with the archer or something like that. And now it's really usual. It's really usually to see joking between coaches and archers, and I think is really changing. Yeah.
Okay, couple more questions. Jun, I'm coming to you. Do you think any athlete in any sport can succeed if they don't have a good relationship with their coach?
I mean, I think it's possible, but I think it's way easy if you have a good relationship and you have uh, more a deeper connection with him, because you can tell all your problems. Yeah, all this in my case, I can tell my not my only field shooting field problems, but other like study problems or relationship with my mates. And I think it's possible, but it's much harder, because it's possible if you listen all him advices and you follow the process your coach is putting to you.
Yasmin, your thoughts? Can you
Yeah,
succeed?
I'm thinking the same. It's possible, but if you're good with your coaches, it's more happier and easier.
Certainly more enjoyable. I agree. Elias, I come back to you then. Have you ever worked with an athlete where the relationship hasn't been good, but somehow you've managed some success?
If I can remember, maybe no. I can remember, no.
Okay.
I think no bad relationship, but I have example like when you start to work with, for example, when I started training with Jumi in Madrid Sports Center, 2 years later moved to National Center coach. This is the reason, because I lived our relationship like coach and an athlete. So when I started training in National Training Center, I feel the first month or the first week the archery is not believe 100% in you, but it's like working when you working hard, and when you have some of them 100% believe in you and start to get a result, all the rest of the archery is getting confidence, and not like I never feel like this archer no believe in me, but yes, like no 100% believe in you.
Göktürk, do you have anything to add to that? Have you ever worked with an athlete that you haven't had a great relationship but managed success?
This is depend. What do you mean about the success? I mean, the success is personal best. Yes, I had a couple of archers. They shot their personal best with me, which is they don't like me too much. We never have really good relationships, but at the end we managed to have their personal best in their life. But if you're talking about the real medals, I always have really good relation with the archer, which one I have international medals. Okay. But I have to notice, I had good relations before the medals, not after the medals.
Okay, yeah, important. Look, I think we're all agreed that the athlete-coach relationship is critical, not just to success, because not, as we've discussed, not everybody can succeed. Most people don't become the Olympic champion, but to success overall in life and development. Guys, before I say thank you to you, I said I would ask the same questions I did at the beginning and I'm going to slightly change it. And it's not for you guys, it's for the coaches. What would be your top tips to develop relationships with your athletes? Elias, let's start with you.
Can you repeat the question?
Sí. Consejos para mejorar la relación entre arqueros y entrenadores y eso.
I think one of the most important thing is try to, but like a coach or
yeah. So I'm a developing coach, and I come to you and I say I need to get better at developing relationships with my athletes. What would you advise me?
Well, God come first, please.
Me first. Okay.
Yeah,
I can say, first, you don't have to have any expectations. expectations. As a coach, if you have any expectations before start to work with any archer as a development coach, you cannot create good relationships because you always wait to have good reaction, or which is the reaction that you wait from the archer. But you don't have to have any expectations. You have to accept every archer has individual personality and different characters, and you have to understand he or she is archer. He is or he is the man who gets some loading on her, and he's spending time, he's spending his power, he's spending his life, and he or she just want to be better. And if you understand he or she just want to be athlete, better athlete, and if you don't have any expectations, you can create a relation. You can find a way to have good relation with them. But if you try to have some shape, some relationship shape with all of them, I mean, some frame, some rules about your relations with anyone, sometimes you will have some problem with the different personalities. You have to be ready for everything, because some archers are they have open personality, they are speaking loudly, they are doing jokes, and some of them really close, not easy to reach, not easy to understand. Sometimes you cannot get enough feedback, and you have to find a way to have good feedback, and you have to find a way to create a terminology with individual archers.
So treat everyone individually, no expectations, and consider that they are just trying to do the very, very best. Elias, would you add anything to that?
I think one of the most important thing is like treat him like a person before like an archer, no? Because they are a person before archer, and it's important to know how is his life, how is his relationship with the other the other teammate, or how is his attitude or something like that. Because the first question of the meeting, no, you cannot speak with all of them with the same way. You need to know every archer before speak with them like archer, no, like person before, and you need to know his a little bit of his life, no.
Okay, last question for the athletes then, and Yasmin, I'm going to start with you. As your career developed and you've become a member of the senior team, has your relationship with athletes and the way that you the relationship with your coaches changed? And I'm being very specific. There's lots of literature now about how an athlete develops from the beginning career as a young athlete. The coach is the most important thing, and the family is there to support it. But as you grow up and as you get better and as you develop to the international stage, you become more central to a team of people around you, including your coach.
Yes, I've changed in a way that when I was little kid, I was more like, I don't know how to say this, but when someone tell me something, I always ask the reason, like why. If I don't want to do it, I wouldn't do that. But when I grow up, when I became professional and in the senior team, I can say I was more serious with everyone in the team, with my all coaches or teammates. That has changed when I first into the senior team.
And Jen, last word from you. Do you believe that your relationship with your coaches has developed as you've developed as an athlete?
Yeah, I mean, I was training in the Madrid center before with him, before coming here. And I think he always had the same objectives and same goals, and is try to improve the archer in the personal way and in the shooting line. I think in this way, nothing has changed. But I mean, this here there's more like hard training and this normal because this is the national center. But in the goals he has for us, I think nothing has changed because he always won the best for us, and be the best.
Brilliant. A fascinating conversation with four brilliant minds. It's very clear the athlete-coach relationship is incredibly important, not just for sporting success, but also for the development of both the athlete and the coach. Guys, thank you so much for all of your time and your insight. It's been a true privilege of mine to be able to talk with you. And thanks to all of you for watching. Bye from all of us.
Thank you very much, Karim. Have a nice day, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
See you soon, guys.
Great. That gives Chris a nice editing point. Brilliant. Thank you very much. It was very interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you.